Okay guys, we have overhead presses. I'm going to show you multiple versions of the overhead press from beginner to a more advanced. Beginner is we're going to use that big red band. Okay, so we're going to step on that big red band. Remember, the further apart our feet are, the harder it's going to be. Also, if you have thicker bands, right, it's going to be more resistance. But you're going to grab that band with an overhand grip, shoulder width apart. You're going to roll it up and put those elbows inside the band. Knees are soft. Do not be locked out, stiff and straight. Knees are soft, core is braced, and I'm going to drive that band as far over my head as I can and a controlled lower down to the chest. Don't drive up and let the band do the work and slam it back down on your chest. Drive and lower. Drive and lower. Okay? There is our banded overhead press. Next, we have a seated overhead press with dumbbells. All right? So when we go seated, basically it makes it harder. Anything upper body when you go seated makes it harder because you can't use your legs. You have to strictly be upper body and core to do this. So for the overhead press, I'm going to sit, I'm going to be up nice and tall, shoulder stacked over the hips, core is engaged, my weight is in my hips, I'm light on my feet, I'm not leaning forward and pushing into those feet, I'm light on my feet, weight is right here. I'm going to bring those dumbbells up and I'm going to drive up over my head. Again, same thing, knuckles up to the ceiling. Don't be flexed back on your wrist. Right here, drive. And I actually like an open palm when I press here, just resting it in that thumb so that I'm not wearing out my grip. Because the weight's going up over my head, you don't really need to be holding on to it too tight. Don't let it fall on your head, obviously. But I like, when I push up, I always open up my palm because it's nice and supported in my palm like this, or I open my fingers and drive, okay? So here is a seated overhead press. Standing overhead press is just right here. Again, abs are in nice and tight, knees are soft, and I'm gonna drive over my head with those weights, okay? Now, when we're standing, we have two versions of standing when we do an overhead press. We have what's called strict, and we have what's called a push press. Strict means no legs are used whatsoever. So when I'm standing, core is tight, knees are soft, it is all upper body. No legs are being used, okay? Then when we have what's called a push press, that means I can use my legs a little bit to help drive that weight up over my head, and it usually means you can push a little bit heavier weight. So I'd be right here, dropping those legs and drive, dropping those legs and drive, and turn sideways, drop and drive, okay? So it's just a little push down, they call it a kip, into those legs and drive the weights up, all right? And that allows you to drive a little bit heavier weight in that push press. And that is all the versions of an overhead press.